It all began on a hot, muggy day when I stumbled upon my father's secret room hidden behind an old bookcase in the study. My heart pounded as I pushed open the heavy oak door. The air inside was stale and thick with dust. I flicked on the light switch, revealing shelves upon shelves of yellowing letters and photographs. I sifted through the papers, curiosity gnawing at me like a wolf at its prey. It wasn't until my eyes fell upon a tattered envelope marked with the name Mary that I felt a chill run down my spine. Who was Mary, and why did my father keep her secrets? As the weeks passed, I became consumed by this mystery. One evening, as my family sat around the dinner table, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. The tension in the air was thicker than the summer haze outside. My mother seemed distant, my father more agitated than usual. It was then that I decided to confront them. "I found your secret room," I announced, watching as the colour drained from their faces. "Who is Mary?" My father's eyes flashed with anger, but my mother only looked at me with a sadness that cut deeper than any knife. She hesitated for a moment before speaking, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mary was my sister." I felt the blood drain from my face as I listened to their tragic tale. My grandmother had given birth to twin girls, but only one had survived my mother. The other, Mary, had been stillborn. Yet my grandfather, tormented by his guilt, had hidden her away in a makeshift grave on the farm. Over time, as he struggled with his grief and shame, he began to visit Mary's grave regularly. It wasn't long before he started writing letters to her, pouring out his heart to the girl who could never hear him. This secret love, this forbidden bond, had consumed him for years, a torment kept hidden from the rest of the world until it threatened to consume our family as well. I was stunned by this revelation, my mind racing with questions and emotions. I felt betrayed, angry and hurt, but most of all I felt sympathy for my father, a man haunted by his past and tormented by his guilt. As the sun set that evening, casting long shadows over our home, I knew our family would never be the same again. Days turned into weeks, and the pain began to fade, replaced with a newfound understanding of my father's actions. But as the months passed, I found myself growing increasingly uneasy. My father still visited Mary's grave every week, his sorrow palpable even from a distance, and whenever he returned home, the tension in our family seemed to grow stronger. One fateful evening, as my father stormed into the house after another long visit to the grave, I couldn't take it anymore. "What's going on?" I demanded, my voice trembling with anger and frustration. "Nothing you need to worry about," he snapped, but I could see the desperation in his eyes. That night, as we lay in our beds, I made a decision. Tomorrow, I would confront him once more, demand answers, and force him to face his demons head-on. The sun rose early the next morning, casting its golden light over the farm. I found my father standing at Mary's grave, tears streaming down his face. "Dad," I said softly, my voice barely above a whisper. He turned to face me, and for a moment, I saw the man he had once been kind, loving and strong. But then, something dark crept into his eyes, and he looked at me with a cold, hard glare. "Stay away from my grave," he growled, his voice dripping with anger. "This is my penance, my punishment for what I've done. Don't you dare try to take that away from me." I felt a burning rage rise within me, fueled by years of suppressed emotions and hidden secrets. I wanted to scream, to shout, to lash out at the man who had caused so much pain and heartache for my family. But instead, I turned and walked away, leaving him alone with his demons. In the weeks that followed, our family disintegrated. My father became more distant, more volatile, and our home was filled with tension and anger. One night, as we sat at the dinner table in painful silence, my mother finally spoke up. "We can't go on like this," she said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. "What are you suggesting?" I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. "I think we need to confront him, force him to deal with his past once and for all." I hesitated, torn between my anger towards my father and the love I still held for him deep within my heart. But as I looked around our shattered family, I knew that something had to change, and soon. That night, as the moon cast its silver light over the farm, I made a plan. The following day, we would confront my father, demand answers, and force him to face his demons head-on. As I lay in bed, my mind racing with possibilities and fears, I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. No matter what happened, I knew that this was the only way forward towards healing, forgiveness, and ultimately, vengeance. But as fate would have it, my father never made it home that night. A car accident claimed his life on the winding road outside our farm, leaving us with a gaping wound in our hearts that no amount of time or tears could heal. As I stood at his grave, I felt a strange mixture of emotions: grief, anger, and a twisted sense of relief. My father was gone, but his secrets remained buried deep within the earth, a constant reminder of the pain he had caused our family. Years passed, and life moved on. My mother and I worked tirelessly to rebuild our lives, to find closure in the chaos left behind by my father's betrayal. But even as we moved forward, we could never forget the darkness that had once consumed our home or the man who had started it all. And so, my friends, let this tale serve as a warning. Hidden secrets have a way of coming to light, and when they do, the consequences can be devastating. For in our pursuit of truth and justice, we may find ourselves forced to confront our own demons, to face the darkness within ourselves, and ultimately, to seek vengeance upon those who have wronged us. But remember, this vengeance is a bitter pill to swallow, and it can leave you forever scarred by its taste. So tread carefully when walking the path of retribution, for it may lead you down a darker road than you ever imagined possible.